Do you read me?
Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, Com Tower. This is Pacho. Do you read me?
Pacho, this is Com Tower. I read you Lima Charlie.
Com Tower. Request permission to launch and commence the field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. I say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, Pacho Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some. Hurrah! Welcome back, everybody. Hurrah, get some. Baby Friday is upon us. Friday night's Eve, but goddamn, it's almost the weekend. Hey, if you recognize this background behind me, you know that this is Ken's bar. He's an amazing guest today. He's been on our show, and but before we get all up in that, let's get all the pleasantries out of the way. Hey, what was the last time that you took a look at if you're seriously protected, you plan for your future, and that you're on track to achieve your financial goals? Well, if it's been a while or if it's been never, why don't you check out the Money Pro? The Money Pro, they'll give you some very specific strategies and techniques that you can start implementing, or maybe you're getting ready to get out of the service and you don't know what to do, how to properly protect your family because your SGLI is going to be done with, or maybe what to do with your TSP. Well, at the Money Pro, they can give you some very specific strategies and techniques that you can start implementing right away, even if you're in the process of transitioning out of the military, or if you've already gotten out, that maybe it can stop the bleeding. Maybe in the sense that you've been dipping into those savings and you borrowed against your 401k or your TSP or your savings plan. So that way you can preserve your capital, stop the bleeding, and start increasing your investments. And the best part, you can probably even reduce, they'll even find ways to reduce your tax liabilities. So that way you're not paying, Uncle Sam all this ungodly amount of money, or you can invest your retirement better. The way it works is very easy. You could go to meetthemoneypro.com. That is meetthemoneypro.com. It's all in the show description. https://meetthemoneypro.com, and check it out. Book yourself, and you get a free 1-hour strategy session where they will give you some very specific strategies and techniques that you can implement right away to better protect your family and increase your financial assets. All right. This show is also brought to you by the VA. And look, the VA is not perfect, and we're going to talk about we're going to talk about the VA today. However, it is things have gotten so much better, and now under the PAC Act, you can actually get your VA claims and benefits that much easier. We're going to talk about today in the show. So don't cut yourself short, and you want to because if you want some tax-free payments because you gave your body, mind, soul, and spirit to Uncle Sam for whether it was 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, or an entire 20-year career, you want to get your benefits because, again, as you get older in life, you want to be compensated because after giving, you got your body, mind, soul, and spirit to Uncle Sam, you want to be compensated. All right. Hey, look, this show is also, I myself served for 20 plus years, defending our great Constitution, in every time and place. So if you support freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, and whatever else, other freedoms that the Constitution gave us, then, hey, like, subscribe, and follow. Make sure you let everybody else know about our show, and support your local podcast. All right, everybody. So, hey, these are all the pleasantries out of the way. So, with that being said, let me bring on our guest, Mr. Ken Crenshaw. What's going on, Ken?
Hey, social media land, how y'all doing?
What's going on, brother?
Good to see you, man.
Brothers don't shake hands. Brothers hug.
Appreciate you coming up and having the show here and sitting there and enjoying the great Arctic storm of the wiregrass of 2025.
I mean, that's especially for this area. I mean, it's not pretty common.
No, this was 9 inches of snow, and the last time it snowed like this, from what they were saying, was back in the 1960s. Probably about 10, 12 years ago it snowed, but it started snowing in the morning, and by like 6, 7 o'clock, it was melted all the way. But man, we got some snow. But thanks for having me on, and thanks for being here.
No, it's always, I mean, you and I go way back like rocking chairs since we were kids. We joined the Marine Corps together. We went, which is I think it was a double-edged sword going in the buddy program.
Yeah. Very much so.
Very much so. We went to boot camp together.
Where's your brother, Hernandez? He's got to pay too. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, but hey, we've been lifelong friends, and I'm happy you're here, and thank you for having me on the show. And let's get at it, man. What do you talk about?
I mean, I know that for many years, I mean, I was always trying to get you to put in your VA claims and benefits. I mean, and I know it's got its set of complexities and everything else. I mean, I know that that a lot of people feel stuck or intimidated by that claims process. So we're just going to talk about basically your journey and how we made that happen yesterday. As a matter of fact, for in less, how long?
It took maybe tops 45 minutes to an hour. Tops.
So what was before this? Let's rewind back. But before this, what was your initial thought perception or thought process of the VA process?
Well, okay, so yes, I served the United States Marine Corps, hoorah, and I served proudly and everything. But I wasn't in a combat unit, wasn't an infantry unit, and for many, many years, I just believed that, okay, I don't deserve it. There's so many men and women out there that have just dealt with so much, and they deserve it just 10 times more than I did. And that was my thought process. My thought process was just like, well, I'm okay. It'll be all right. I'm just, getting older, this, that, and the other and everything. But then I started realizing and talking to you and stuff that, no, if you served, it's your God-given right to file on anything you feel is service related. I mean, if you think about it, our government sits there and sends billions of dollars overseas to help everybody else. So why not, sit there and help their troops, help their fellow Americans and stuff. And I know that, a lot of people might be a sour taste in their mouth because they could do a lot more than they are. But I was just like, nah, I'm not going to worry about it. But talking with you, it was like, no, it is my right to do that. And you're never going to know unless you try. If you have something wrong with you, if there's something you feel that is a prolonging illness to you, that is service related, you feel you got from the military, it is your right to sit there and file on it. And you should file on it because, in all honesty, you never know. If you can get compensated for the nicks, the bruises, the wounds, the mental anguish, the physical anguish, everything, if you can get compensated for that, then that is your God-given right. That is your right as a veteran, and you should absolutely file. So I was like, okay, let's make this happen. Stop procrastinating. And I listened to you and I was like, hey, let's make it happen. And yes, the process can be a little challenging, right, and there's a couple hiccups and stuff, but I think, and also too, sometimes they do it that way because they want you to sit there and say, nah, I give up. I'm not going to do this. But no, get together with somebody, talk to this man right here. If you have any questions, comments, hey, how do I do this? He's more than willing to help you out. Help me out. Took less than about 45 minutes. And bam, I got a claim submitted. So,
and you kind of answered one of the questions that we were going to talk about, because it was a percent. You finally made the decision and like, you know what? I do rate these benefits. I did, it's not that whether you're a combatant or because we're all part of that big puzzle. One thing that kind of chaps my behind a little bit is when I hear another another service member say, well, I only did 4 years, or I only blah, dot, 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 whatever the case. And it's like, no, whether you're in a supporting role, you were fighting with an infantry fighter, out in the front lines. It doesn't really matter. It's everything, that big puzzle, which takes us to mission accomplishment.
Absolutely.
All that good stuff. So we all earn we earn our keep, so to speak. So walk us through some of the early stages, because I know a few. Last year I was from Florida. I was walking the dog with you on the VA claim. But what were the biggest challenges that you faced months ahead? And we'll talk about yesterday, because obviously you had me here as a reason. But what are some of the things that you think that some of those veterans that never applied, what are some of the challenges that they face?
Well, I think probably one of the biggest ones is finding a veterans office, finding some place that is going to help you out, that is going to point you and steer you in the right direction, that's going to keep up with your paperwork, that's going to see through the process. Some of these places that they have, they offer a few things. Well, hey, we'll put this in, or hey, check back with us, and hey, we may call you every now and then. But some of them, they just don't follow through. They don't get back in touch with you and everything. So right. I think that's one of the biggest things is like veterans show up and they're like, okay, I've never done this before. I don't know how to do it. Please, somebody point me in the right direction. And that's why I mentioned you, because you're more than willing to help. You know the field op, the information you put online, stuff that you've on your podcast here that you've recommended and everything. So I think that's probably the biggest thing is finding somebody that is going to steer you in the right direction. Say, hey, I'm here to help you out. Let's do this. Because I mean, you can get it. You get online. Listen, not all of us are computer savvy and everything like that. And when you go on the website, it can be a little much. But you have somebody that can walk you through it and keep up with you. I think it helps out tremendously, especially in our everyday lives. I mean, we get tied up and busy with other things and stuff. But if you can have somebody that walks you through the process and helps you along, hey, calls you every now and then and says, hey, just keeping up with you, letting you know. Check your, they should be getting back with you on this. I think that helps tons.
Yeah, no, and you're right. A lot, and that's not a common. That's a common theme out there, that when you're with a vet, or when you say, hey, there's a VSO, veteran service officer that can assist you with XYZ, or a lot of times I hear, well, I did talk to that person. And but they just had like an attitude, or they just didn't seem very, very welcoming, or they use somebody at the DAV or American Legion that unfortunately. And by the way, you need to, those of us who are young. I mean, I'm 50. I'll be 52 this year. I'm still in ass kicking mode. But I highly encourage anybody over here within our age or younger who's a vet. Please join and support your American Legion, your Disabled American Veterans, because here's my point. A lot of the times that they have somebody helping veterans, some veteran at those organizations helping others, 9 times out of 10 is an elderly person, and God bless them for what they know. Some do know about me, using the system, e-benefits, which is the old system, but using va.gov now. Mm-hmm. A lot of them don't know. Unfortunately, they're not that tech savvy and utilizing other things, which we'll talk about here in just a second. Or that person just sitting at that desk, not really helpful to the vet, and you're like, get turned off. Yeah. And like, you know what? Screw it. Why? Exactly. If I'm going to get the attitude, why am I even going to file? Yeah, and we have a tendency, not all of us. I mean, some of us, we get attitude. We're going to call people out on it. But there's some of us that are just like, okay, I'm bothering this person, that I'm not. It's all about attitude when you come in and everything like that. And if you feel like, okay, this person isn't being helpful or as open and just, cordial as you may think, then you're the first
some people are going to be like, okay, screw this. This was a bad idea. And they're going to leave and then they're never going to come back. Or they're going to have, oh, well, I'll try to come back or something like that. And then life takes over. And next thing you know, 12, 15 years go down the road.
Okay. No. And yeah, so what's, I guess, so moving time forward, you intend to file.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we think is that, and actually after doing, I did some further digging for you today after we filed. A lot of us tend to think, and I was under that impression that we have to get, if you don't have your medical records, mm-hmm. copies of your medical records, that you have to request them and such. But finding out this morning and digging further is that the VA now with Kansas City, this is the hub where all American medical records go. There's already let's just say a working agreement where the VA has direct access to those files and they can request them and start the VA But what surprised you most about, now moving time forward, what surprised you the most about the process once we got started last night?
It wasn't, once it got started and we got on the roll, it really wasn't that difficult. It's just, I guess the most time consuming thing is when you start thinking about service related things that, things that you might feel ail you that are service related, being able to sit down and just, you want to give them a description of what you did, what it was in the service that caused this ailment to you. But once you get started and you get in the process, it really isn't that difficult. It really isn't that hard at all. And one of the biggest things too was, I thought I had to send them for my medical records. And when I tried that the first time, they sent me a paper back saying, no, this, that, blah, blah, blah. We're not sending it to you. You got to do this. So it's like, you feel like you got to jump through these hurdles to get there. And then when this hurdle doesn't happen, you're like, well, damn, here I got to start all over again. Finding out that when we submitted a claim, they're going to take care of getting the medical records. Because for guys like me and him, shoot, our medical records are sitting in some vault somewhere with dust on them somewhere down in the basement of some building or something or another.
Really?
Because we've been in long ago. But the fact that they take care of it, that's one less thing you have to worry about.
Right.
So the process was very, it wasn't hard. You just going down and you're everything that you feel that ails you, just clicking on it and then giving a brief description of in the military, how that relates and stuff and everything. And do it. Do it. Anything you feel that is service related ailment to you that you've got in the service, then by all means, put it down. Okay. Because this is stuff that, hey, you got in the service for serving your country, for signing that contract, for, being proud and everything. And you deserve compensation for it. You absolutely do. So, yeah, it wasn't that difficult at all once the process got started.
So walk us through when we sat down. I think the biggest hurdle when we were trying to get started, it's the whole logging. If you've never used va.gov, it's just the logging process through ID.me mm-hmm. or I think it's like login.gov.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest hurdle to get verified as a human being.
Absolutely. I highly recommend before you do it, you take a very clear picture of your driver's license, the front and back. They are going to want to make sure you have some sort of identification that they can ID you. They're not just you're not going to log in, create this password and everything like that. And then you're just going to be like, okay, yeah, this is Joe Schmuckatelli. Let's get started. They want you to prove you are who you are, which is understandable in this day and age. So be a little patient with it when you first get started and you first get logged in and you first get your password done. And then they're going to want you to present some kind of identification. Just kind of be, thank God to this guy right here, because patience is not my strong suit. And when it wasn't going to take my photo, I was just like, oh, God, this crap's bullshit, man. Here we go again. But a little bit of patience, take your time, get your ID in there and everything. And once they verify it, then, okay, you're sailing. Then you can get on that website and just start getting it knocked out, getting your claim submitted.
And once we got started, walk us through the process. How did we started doing it? When okay, what was the process when we were filling out the form? What was that like? How did we start?
It was like, okay, they wanted to know what ailments do you have? And I mean, everything. There is everything you can imagine that's in there. And it just going through it and just thinking, okay, shoulder injury, back, knee problems, shin splints.
So we start. So yeah, I guess to clarify, we
started from the head,
yeah,
and did a full range down. Everything that you can think that is something that, okay, yes, I didn't have this before I served. I have it now. Put it in, okay? Because you want to start from your head and do a full range down. Just go. Just like they do when they in emergency services and first responders and stuff like that, we do. If we come across a victim on the ground or something like that, we do a trauma assessment or a medical assessment. It basically, when you do that rapid assessment, you're starting from the head and you're going all the way down the body. Basically, that's what you want to do. You just want to start at the head and just say, okay, do I get headaches? No, the head injury, scarring and stuff, and just work your way down. And that's it.
Yeah. So here's some tips and techniques that you want to. Things that you want to put down. Migraines. Do you get migraines? Because think about this. The Marine Corps Martial Arts program was implemented in the late 90s, early 2000s. However, even before that, we still did martial arts training. You did the obstacle course. You did all these other events where you fell, you probably hit your head. And those are latent. You get latent, what do they call it? Results, or you start feeling headaches, migraines. That is due to your service. If you fell and you hit your head, you play combat football, combat frisbee. Those are, if all those things where those were micro TBIs. Those were traumatic brain injuries where you can have. If you took medicines while you were in, I took doxycycline for malaria, which, by the way, does have PTSD-like symptoms. The DOD found out about this because they were giving doxycycline malaria pills to service members back in the 60s during the Vietnam War. And they had already, you can Google this information. They had already determined that it gave depressive, PTSD, suicidal thoughts, all those things so if maybe those people, some, even though they did have mental issues associated with combat, they were taking all these medicines. So that's compounded with all the other things.
Exactly.
So you want to start from the top to bottom. Dermatitis, with your skin, breathing issues. Now under the PAC Act, if you deploy to Afghanistan and Iraq, for breathing and respiratory issues, tinnitus, bringing of the ears, even athlete's foot, and this is no pun intended, but hemorrhoids, all those things, sleep apnea, all those things you want to throw it all in there and just start pleading your case, because I can tell you, having to do this for a while and helping a lot of veterans, is that those folks doing your claims and benefits, they're not doctors. Did you know that, bro?
No, I didn't. I thought that, okay, you're going into a veterans hospital and they're doctors and they're going to be like, okay, we're gonna check you out and we're gonna make sure, because you probably don't have nothing wrong with you, but we're gonna make sure that I did.
Right.
But they're not. Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah. So they're not. They're just. They could be a veteran or a civilian that was trained, in a half-day course on how to read the TMI. Yeah, I got you, Angel. On the hemorrhoids, but you want to again, not being, it's not TMI, is that you want to throw all those things because, and I'll tie this all together. Those folks who are only trained through on a half-day course, they are, they're not doctors. So you want to put leverage your case because you're advocating for yourself. You want to go in there where, make it as easy as possible, put in a language with those folks, backed up with documentation for those folks to basically give you the desired outcome, whether it's 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100% or permanent and total disabled. So because at the end of the day, you want to get paid and compensated and taken care of by the system. So you want to paint that clear picture, and because again, those folks are not trained. What were some of the tools that I was using to to put your case together that people can use also as well? What were some of the things that I was seeing somebody using?
I don't know. I thought it was like maybe some kind of program that can basically, I don't know, categorize or sum up what you were trying to explain and everything like that.
I like the way you wiggle your fingers like I was doing some type of voodoo or magic shit.
Some kind of like putting something together and something that hey, does it for you in this day and age. I mean, come on, there's programs out there, there's technology and stuff and help you word things appropriately and stuff. The important thing is that you just sit there and go through and think of, okay, this. Obviously, there's going to be some things that are just blatantly obvious. You took shrapnel, or God forbid, you lost an appendage or something like that, and but again, don't just that. Yeah, put that in there, of course, but also list other things too that could be related to that, or something like Frank was saying, headaches and stuff that might have been brought on by something else. There's programs and software out there that can help you, when you type something in and everything like that. Bear with me, I'm old school, and everything. I'm used to doing shit on a typewriter and looking at a book and everything. So there's stuff out there that you can utilize that'll help you to like explain, okay, this is what I'm trying to get across, and paint them a picture of, okay, this is what's wrong with me, this is the ailment, and this is why I got it.
Yeah. So things that you can utilize, some tools. ChatGPT is artificial intelligence.
Be careful of that.
John Connor is like
John Connor in the 80s warned us. For all of y'all out there that believe in the Walking Dead apocalypse, better start paying attention to the Terminator apocalypse. That's looking more and more likely. But enough with that.
Yeah, you can use ChatGPT. You can actually build even on the free version. You can query it based on the 38 CFR. That's Code of Federal Regulation. I am putting I'm putting a claim and benefit before. Help me build the case, and you just enter that, and now that AI is queried to start sourcing information out of 38 CFR. So when you're building, once you get to the claim and benefit, it'll start listing any military related ailments that you have. You can put tinnitus. You start out tinnitus, athlete's foot, gastrointestinal issues, GERD, name it, everything and everything. You want to throw everything in the kitchen sink on that claim. Let them make that determination. So don't make it for them, okay? Because you want anything and everything associated with your military service. So not only you get compensated for it, but that as you get older, those things are going to get, nothing. Age doesn't come by itself. In other words, it comes with ailments, and so you want to be treated for it, so it doesn't come out of your own pocket by you going to another doctor. And so, because in the eyes of the VA, if it ain't on paper, or if you didn't tie it to when your military career, you're not going to get treated for it as well, right?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So now that we're on the other side, and we did we did it. What are some of, I guess, what would you say to any service member who's kind of on the fence about, man, should I apply? Should I not? What would you tell them?
I'd say, listen, look, do it. Okay. I mean, you served, you gave so many years of your life, if not practically half your life, to the government. You were a proud patriot. I understand, with being a proud patriot, it also comes with, our government. Yes, they haven't always been fair to us, and they haven't always, treated us the way we should be treated. But I highly recommend that you do this because you never know. Okay, you never know. Just like he said, you put everything in there that you can, and you let them make that determination. I mean, every little bit helps, and you deserve it, for crying out loud. Everything you've put up with, everything you sacrificed, everything you've done. I understand, oh, well, yeah, I had the GI Bill and this, that, and the other. And I don't care what armed services you were in. You deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. So I just tell people out there, yes, put in for it. Try. Keep trying. Okay? Because every little bit helps. They don't want you to put in. They don't want to sit there and have to, put out money and everything like that. But you've earned it. You deserve it. You've served blood, sweat, and tears. So damn it, make them, aware of that and do your damnedest to, get that across, get that claim in there, and make it happen. Because again, you deserve it. God bless every single man and woman out there that has served in combat and has dealt with what they've dealt with and has come back emotionally and mentally and physically scarred. But also every service member that has also been in, you feel you have a service related injury or illness or whatever. Yes, put in for it. You deserve it. You do.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it.
Hey, you've earned it. You deserve it. If you have questions about how to navigate the system, you want to, get some better, start getting compensated. So maybe you can start really paying off your bills. Maybe you can start investing. Maybe you can start doing other things that you can get off your plate financially. And you want to also structure that money so it could give you returns. I'll be more than and this is not a pitch or anything. I mean, whether it works for you or not. But I'll be more than glad to help you structure that money so that way you get better returns and start getting you at a hold of your life and better basically take care of you and have something for retirement.
Listen, right? Guys and gals out there listening out there in social media land, this guy cares. Okay, this guy's been through it. This guy's had buddies that he's lost along the way. He cares, okay? Even if it's just you need a question answered or information, okay? Look him up. Send him an email, something. He's actually one of the good guys. He's not one of these guys that just sit there and it's like, okay, what do you want? Yeah, okay, yeah, let's try this. Oh, yeah, well, you're going to have to. No. Talk to this guy, all right? He knows what he's talking about, and he wants to help you out. He genuinely cares. He wants to help you out, both with any veteran assistance stuff you may need, and yes, financial stability. Because in this day and age, and the older you get, unless you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, and even then, nothing's 100% guaranteed. I mean, you want to, set your future up for yourself and your family, if you have one, if you're so blessed to have one. So yeah, give this guy a call, send him an email,
I didn't pay him for that, by the way.
He did.
So with that being said, folks, if you have any questions, you can find me. It's all on the show description. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. I do interact on my social media on the comments. I feel you can DM me. I'll give you my number. We can set up a 1 hour strategy session, and we could work some things out. And I can point you in the right direction as far as your VA claims and benefits. So if you've been ruminating about how you and going into a dark place where you need help, you want to talk to somebody as well, let me be that last person. If you're in that dark place, let me be that last text or that last phone call where I can talk you off that ledge, because I do have the resources where we can send you so you can get in a much better place. Because nobody here wants you to be a statistic. Nobody here wants to do push-ups, 100 push-ups a day in the name of veteran suicide. We want you here. We want you to stick around. So hit me up. And if you haven't heard from a buddy in a while, we'll do a buddy check. Today I did a buddy check on somebody posted something online, and I gave him a call to see what was going on. And hey, brother, you know who you are. I'm like I said on the phone this morning, I'm here for you. Reach out to me. I got your back. And if you want to just get away for a little bit, let me know. We could definitely make that happen. So I think this is a good place to index.
Yep.
So with that being said, ice the mas, dice the key. See you next week. Hurrah, get some.
Be good.
And here we go. We're out.